So the second semi-final of the day promises to be an entertaining affair. We've got a nice contrast in styles to admire once again. And of course both players have played well here throughout the course of the week. There are two big questions though as far as I'm concerned, Robbie. The first, and perhaps most importantly, is how much gas will Seymour have left in the tank? Didn't finish till very late yesterday evening.
Yeah, 3 of his 4 matches that he's won this week have been tiebreakers in the third. And the fourth one was a 3-set battle against James Blake, so it doesn't get much tougher than that. That's for sure.
And the second one, of course, is how fit is Nadal coming into this match. We know he had problems with his shoulder yesterday, but I'm sure he's got the experts to cast their eye over it, and he seems to be swinging at the ball relatively freely, and he certainly was when he practiced a little earlier today as well, so that bodes well as far as his chances are concerned. 31 singles titles he's been able to amass already, and the last one, of course, was the gold medal in Beijing.
Worth mentioning that he's had 80 wins this season, just the 3rd player since 2000 to win at least 80 matches in a season, the other 2 being Roger Federer and Leighton Hewitt.
Yeah, Federer certainly posted some incredible numbers in that phenomenal year where he was virtually unbeatable, winning 92 matches in the course of that season. Nadal still has a bit of work to do in order to break that particular record. 12 Masters Series shields, though, sitting proudly on his mantelpiece. And, of course, Federer has won 14. The all-time leader in that category is Agassi with 17. So Nadal with every chance of catching those 2 up. He was tested in his first match this week against Ernets Gulbis, the Latvian #1, but he raised the level of his game when he needed it most, played an awful lot better against Gasquet, and was really in complete control for much of the match against Lopez.
Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly. Gulbis tried to hit him off the court, which I think is what you got to do against Nadal. You've got to keep the points nice and short, serve big, and if you can, when you get a chance from the back of the court, you really got to pull the trigger.
I guess that's the big question as far as the Frenchman is concerned. His game is developing nicely. He's won 3 of his 5 singles titles this year: Casablanca, Indianapolis, and more recently in Bucharest. He's only 23 years of age, so he will continue, hopefully, to develop. But does he possess currently the necessary firepower to be able to beat somebody like Nadal?
Well, it's a difficult one. Perhaps not on the face of things, but he's got a style of tennis that's very awkward to play against. He mixes things up very nicely, change of pace. He hits the ball very flat, so a lot of the top players don't see a guy like him day in and day out on the tour. He's very crafty as well, but whether he can live with the top boys week in and week out, well, that remains to be seen, because I think he's shown now that he's definitely part of the top 10. Can he push on? Only time will tell.
He hasn't had a great deal of experience at this level. He's only just starting to post winning numbers. He's 25 and 20, and it has been an incredible week as far as he's concerned. Unseeded, remember, so he's played an extra match, and boy, have they been tough.
He saved 4 match points against Igor Andreev in that opening round. Then he went on to beat James Blake in 3. Robbie Ginepri had all kinds of chances to bury him, but somehow he managed to stay in the match there. And then last night I was here till about just a couple of minutes after midnight to watch Simon get the better of Karlovic again in a breaker in the third. So he's got to be feeling it a little bit, Jason.
Yeah, and let's not forget Karlovic had beaten Djokovic in the previous round in 2 tie breaks. So Karlovic no fool in conditions like these here in Madrid. It was an excellent win for Simon, but he must be struggling a little bit now. Nadal has won their 2 previous meetings. The first was in Marseille, 2006. Nadal won comfortably 7-5, 6-4. The last time they played was earlier this season in the Australian Open, and again the Spaniard was victorious. And again, Robbie, pretty comfortable, but Simon must surely be a lot more confident now than he was then.
Absolutely, he's a different player since the beginning of the year. He's got so many more victories under his belt. And let's not forget, Simon's also beaten Federer this year, so that's going to help him believe that he can mix it with the very best players in the world.
Yeah, that was in Canada, on the way to the semi-finals there. Federer self-destructing in the deciding set. Carlos Bernardis is the umpire for this one. I was with him in Moscow last week. These guys spend a lot of time traveling the world. It's not an easy job, but life has been made a little easier by the addition of the official review system. Plenty of support for Nadal this week. He's got various uncles here, other members of his family, and it's become a full-time job now, just organising that side of things. But I think amazing to consider how he deals with all of the little things that can confuse, upset and frustrate players. He's got an excellent counsel around him, hasn't he?
He sure has. They're a tight-knit family, the Nadals. Uncle Tony, heavily involved, obviously. And then the other three brothers, I'm sure, have played their part in this man's upbringing because his manners are impeccable. The respect that he shows to the fans and his peers is par excellence.
Now, Gilles Simon has done well too, because it wasn't long ago that he hooked up with Thierry Toulon, and former world #1 junior and former top tenor has done an excellent job of guiding Simon this season onto bigger and better things. It's always so nice to have the opportunity to talk to somebody who's been there and done that in the past, and I think that seems to be a really good fit there.
Absolutely, the results say everything. And I'm sure Thierry will realize some of the mistakes he made when he was coming through the ranks and when he got into the top 10 in the world. And he can hopefully guide Gilles and keep him away from those kind of errors and put him on the right path.
Now, the other question, of course, this afternoon is who will respond best to the enormity of the occasion. Now, fortunately, Simon has been in a semi-final at this level before. That was in Toronto. He lost in a third-set tiebreaker there to Kiefer. And again, he ran out of gas, really, because of all the tennis he played in Indianapolis the week before and winning that tournament before arriving in Toronto. But this, a much bigger occasion than that. How do you think he'll deal with it?
Well, one of two things. He could either be completely overawed because he's playing Nadal in Spain, but what I think is going to happen is that he's going to feel no pressure today, and he's going to come out playing loose. He's not really expected to beat Nadal in Spain, and I'm hoping he's going to come out and play with complete freedom, go for his shots, and really hopefully give Nadal a good run for his money. So my bet is on the second of those scenarios happening.
I guess as far as Nadal's concerned, crucial that he gets the crowd involved early on. He's done that throughout the course of the week by starting his matches well. They don't need much encouragement here, but he's certainly given them enough.
Absolutely, and there really is a buzz when he takes to the court. You can feel how much the Spanish crowd enjoys watching him play live. You know, really only two big events a year in Spain, Barcelona and here. Barcelona's on clay, obviously, this event. So they really give their son a lot of support.
No question that Nadal comes into this match as the heavy favourite, but make no mistake about it, if Gilles Simon can play as well as we know he has throughout much of the season, he has the ability to cause problems to the world's best. The Frenchman has beaten Roger Federer this season and did so on his way to the only other time that he's made it through to the semi-finals of the Masters Series tournaments in Toronto. So he won't be afraid of taking on Nadal, but of course it is so very difficult to get the better of the Spaniard in his own backyard.
First set, Gilles Simon to serve. Gracias. Jugadores listos. Bueno.
Given the style of tennis that Simon plays, type of tactics should we expect from him this afternoon?
I think we're going to see him vary the pace against Nadal. It's very important. You don't want to be too one-dimensional against the Spaniard. And Simo does do that well. I think it's going to be very important for him. Must be scared to pepper the Nadal forehand either. Use that backhand cross-court that Simo possesses. The flat one. That's going to trouble Nadal too.
Gulbis did that well in the opening match. Nadal played here this week. Just couldn't keep it up for the 3 sets. Had some serious bend on it there.
You'll see Nadal, it's around the side of this ball, and that's what adds the curve. You can see beautifully here on the graphic how much swing Nadal puts on that forehand. That's another thing he's going to need to do well today is serve well against Nadal and try and get a couple of cheap points.
15 volts.
It's a poor opening game from the Frenchman, and you have to say he did look a little jaded perhaps. Nadal taking full advantage of it, and he leads 1-love.
Well, that's the problem when you play against Nadal. You've got to play him with a full tank of gas because he makes you work so hard for every point. There's just no let up from him, wave upon a wave of attack. We saw that yesterday in his match where he was just relentless against Feliciano Lopez, never lets you back in the rallies.
And I think sometimes when you're up against him, you just feel, where am I going to get a cheap point from?
So disheartening.
Especially when you're tired physically and drained mentally at the end of a long season and at the tail end of a really tough week. I think this is just a bridge too far as Simo's concerned.
Well, this is what I mean when there's no let up. A little bit short, you get punished for it.
40-15. All 2-15.
That's a lovely little volley from Nadal. A well-constructed point from the Spaniard.
Nadal 2 games.
Perfect start really for Nadal. Asserting himself early on. Letting Simon know who's Al Jefe.
Against Cesaro. 15 love.
That's a lot better. Given Nadal is already a break to the good, it's still going to be a big ask for Simon to get back into this opening set. Plenty of fans still streaming into Pista Central because, of course, they'll have nipped off to get a bite to eat, something to drink after the first semi-final, but they'll be anxious not to miss another point of this particular semi-final. They'll be pleased to have noted Nadal has started brightly. Already a break-up, 2-1. Hard play to try and take the ball that early, but of course it's tough to time the shot when you're taking it on the rise. Footwork's got to be exemplary. Watch the ball like a hawk. There's very little margin for error. Decision not to challenge. The types of rallies that Nadal will want, because he was in complete control from start to finish, and Simon was forced to cover an awful lot of real estate there. You can almost feel the lactic acid build up from the commentary box.
40-15, all to 15.
Pretty comfortable service game then in the end for the Spaniard. And he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment, Robin.
Sign of the sore shoulder. Never gives anything away.
Famous film director, especially in these parts. Uses Penelope Cruz as a muse most of the time, so can't be all that bad.
Only a film director will get away with glasses like that.
Yeah, they've got a lot of leeway, those boys. Nice to see him taking time away from the casting couch.
All 250.
just the one break that separates the two, but it's still a sizable lead that Nadal holds.
Well, he's looking pretty comfortable, as we said earlier. And shoulder that was bothering him yesterday. I'm sure once it's warmed up, he's probably popped a couple of anti-inflammatories as well, just to numb any pain. Now the problem is with that is it's when you finish the match and you go back to the locker room and everything cools down. That's when you can really assess how good or bad an injury is. And I'm sure he will endure a lot of pain in order to win the title here.
Buenos asientos rápidamente, por favor. Gracias. Tiempo.
Well, let's take a closer look at Gilles Simon's shot placement.
Sentarse, por favor. Gracias.
And he's trying to pepper the Nadal backhand, but he's got to be careful of that tactic because Nadal loves playing from his right side. It's the backhand very well both ways and likes to run around the backhand and hit forehands from that side of the court. So he needs to mix it up a bit more and perhaps pepper the Nadal forehand a little bit more, Simon, if he wants success from the back of the court.
Love 15.
It's a shame. It's a terrific tennis from both players, but again Nadal making Simon work so hard physically.
15 all.
Nadal will be well aware that the forehand is the weaker side of Simon.
Nice variation from Nadal. It's always thinking.
30-15. Rebalance. Out.
Nadal seems to be serving a little better today. Average first serve speed 185k, and that was exactly the same as it was in his first match against Gulbis and his second match against Gasquet, but it was a lot less than that yesterday against Lopez. His average first serve speed against his fellow countryman was only 172 kilometers an hour, so that shoulder obviously was playing him up a little bit yesterday, but it seems to have recovered fully today, certainly as far as the amount of pace he's able to generate on his first serve is concerned.
Against the setup. 50.
Well, again, that looks a tired shot to me.
50.
I'll take hard at home because I'm sure a lot of us can hit that shot.
Don't know what he was thinking there. Shots are tough enough, but from a high ball, exceedingly difficult.
Great duckies. 30.
That's a lovely combination of shots. Seymour's hanging on in there, you have to give him credit for that. But he has a mountain to climb because it's Nadal who is still a break to the good. Well, Nadal is changing his tactics quite considerably when returning serve. When doing so on the deuce court, he's standing well up the court to return the second serves, taking them well inside the baseline. But the rest of the time, he's letting the ball come to him. And more often than not, especially when he's got to look at a second serve, he'll try and get around the backhand to use the forehand. Seymour not serving anywhere near as well as you would want at the moment. 42% is not going to cut it today, I'm afraid.
Well, perhaps not so surprisingly that Nadal is struggling a little bit with the first serve percentage, given that his shoulder might be bothering him. And serving at a lowly 44%, but look how effective he is when he does get that first serve, and hasn't lost a point on it yet. 7 of 7, and perhaps Seymour giving up a little too much ground. Needs to attack that Nadal second serve a little more.
Sentarse rápido, por favor. Gracias. De la pista, por favor. Jugadores están listos. Gracias.
Those in the nosebleed section love giving the VIPs a hard time. You gotta love it.
Why not? That's a lovely combination of shots as well. Beautifully done. Always takes a little more energy to stop and then start again. Seymour not even bothering on that occasion. Better serve. Nice pace. A little faster that one. 201 kilometers an hour. Still 100% when he gets that first serve in. Nadal just continues to tempt Seymour to going for shots like that. And in doing so, it's Nadal who's playing the percentages well, and it's Seymour who's taking all the risks. Beautifully done, terrific athleticism.
Enjoyable to watch when Nadal's in this kind of form. Lots of slice on the smash, that's what gives him the control. Safe shot, that one.
see Seymour still enjoying himself out there. It's very important to embrace the situation. Just good length. Again, it's a high percentage play. No risk involved at all as far as Nadal's concerned, but it's so effective.
And I think when you play against Nadal, it takes a while to get used to the amount of spin that he puts on the ball. And there's really no one else that plays like him. Also, the fact that he's a lefty complicates matters.
It's been a rough opening set this for the Frenchman. Nadal with set point. It's a better serve. Those that have had success against Nadal in the past have tried to exploit that huge swing that Nadal takes on the forehand. And if you can hit the ball relatively hard and flat, get it nice and deep, Nadal can sometimes make a rash of unforced errors off that particular wing. Backhand normally is so solid. Not today. Nice change up. Just can't string enough decent points together.
You've got to try and build a bit of momentum when you play against the best players.
Not sure. Let's see what Hawkeye has to say. Well, it was very, very close, a millimetre in. And that's pretty much how the Frenchman saw it as well.
Replay the point.
How could you miss that?
Very tough call to make. Good length again. And all that topspin you were talking about, Robbie, on a court like this, makes life so difficult for opponents because it really kicks up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's a gritty surface, and couple that with the altitude, which also helps the ball to bounce higher. You know what Simon is facing.
Shot from Nadal there. It was a little obvious. Good footwork from Simon.
I don't know if he saw Simon sneak into the net there, because I'm sure if he had seen Simon sneak, he would have gone with the topspin passing shot. It's a nice little move there from the Frenchman.
Speaking of intelligent little sneaks, there's another.
Nadal.
Crowd urging Nadal on. Pressure to force when you're up against Nadal, and that's fine if you're playing really well. But if you're a little tired and you're quite moving your feet as sprightly as you would do normally, it can lead to a lot of errors. Another set point. Took him a while in the end. That last game lasting close to 10 minutes, but Nadal gets a second break of serve, and he wins that opening set relatively comfortably in the end. 6-3 in 38 minutes. Well, I think our worst fears have come to the fore as far as that opening set is concerned. I think it is a match too much for Gilles Simon. Doesn't seem to have anything left in the tank at all, really.
Yeah, making far too many unforced errors, and that's when you're making unforced errors, generally a sign that your feet aren't working so well and you're half a step slow, and you can't afford to be half a step slow when you play against a player like Nadal. And you can see especially the backhand side of Simon, a shot that's normally so reliable, really has been a little bit of a liability for him today. There's so few winners and plenty of unforced errors, 11 coming off that side. So you just feel he's going to have his work cut out. He's going to have to pull a Houdini if he wants to get out of this one. But one would suspect that it's going to be all Nadal from here on in.
Well, in breaking serve twice in that opening set, Nadal has benefited because it'll be the Spaniard who will get things underway at the beginning of the second.
15 goles. 15 all.
Used that shot time and time again to great effect.
30-15. 30-15.
So far so good. Nadal untroubled on serve. Leads by a set and 1 game to love.
Well, tough thing about playing Nadal is that he puts so many balls back in play and he gives you so few free points. And that's what Simon struggled with today on serve. Let's take a look at his serve outcome so far in this match. The orange balls are the returned, and there's a lot more of them. The grey balls, so the black balls on your screen, those are the unreturned, and just 5 unreturned serves from Nadal so far on the match. So Simon is having to work extremely hard in order to hold serve in this match.
Perhaps he needs to vary his serve a little more too. Not going to Nadal's backhand as that one did. I think it's important if you come into a match of this stature that you do so with a specific game plan in mind, and just rolling your serve into Nadal's backhand is not going to get it done. That's one of the reasons why he's returning so many of them.
Defensive capabilities are quite astonishing.
take long, did it? Could do one in about 20 minutes nowadays, the electronic machines. I'm sure Nadal manages to get to the front of the queue more often than not. Oh, it's brilliant. Best point of the match by far, as far as the Frenchman's concerned.
Well, his coach enjoyed it. And it's not often that you get the better of Nadal in these kind of long baseline exchanges. But it's pumping that forehand that paid dividends that time. Look how far behind the baseline he is when he hit that shot.
Nadal needing to just refocus a little bit in this game. That's good stuff. It's quite funny, Robbie. Whenever he's down in the game, interestingly, he always looks to be a little more aggressive.
Well, it's a great mindset to have. I say, as attack is the best form of defense, and Nadal showing us there right now. It's good stuff. Look at that. Posting great numbers coming to the net.
Decision not to challenge. Well wide. Inch perfect with the approach.
I guess a shot that he's using a lot more. At the beginning of the year, he wasn't hitting that forehand up the line all that much. We know how well he hits at cross court, hooking that lefty. But now that he's adding that one up the line, it's so tough to play against him. You don't know where that forehand's going to go.
Shame. Didn't miss by much.
Well, he's covering a lot of real estate. Nadal spreading that forehand so well. Look where Simon is when he makes contact with the ball. So deep and so wide.
Well, again, it's Nadal playing the percentages, and it's Simon having to go for broke way behind the baseline and well wide of the singles sideline, and it's so very difficult to make shots like that time and time again. At this stage, perhaps in the second set, you would expect Nadal to put his foot to the floor. I'm sure he can sense, as we do, that one break of serve surely would be enough in the second set. Simon looks exhausted. He's hanging on in there, but only just.
Listos, gracias.
Sensational. And this has got the fans on their feet. We saw him do it yesterday. Unbelievable running backhand passes against Lopez.
Penetrative ground stroke there from Nadal. 0-30, big point, this one. Feel it coming, really. A resigned look in the Frenchman's camp. Nadal with 3 break points. Oh, quite an anticipation though.
15-40. 15-40.
I don't think he needed to hit it this well because Simon was so far. Look at him, you can hardly see him in camera shot. Just sat on top of the net cord. Decided to fall back on Nadal's side of the net.
Deserving. And it was a let-off. 15-40. Simon has got to try and make the most of that. A real surprise for me. You felt Nadal had timed his move perfectly. Simon is still on serve. Is he just delaying the inevitable? Will he be able to build on that?
Zero 15. Nadal 15.
Never really got the feet set there at all. Still not really making any inroads on the Nadal service games. We're on serve midway through the second set. It's Nadal leads 3 games to 2.
Song, for those of you who remember, was made famous more recently in Something About Mary. You get to see that one?
Certainly did. One of my favourites there. Can't beat a little bit of Cameron Diaz with gel in her hair.
Got no comeback to that.
Well, I think there's just a feeling of inevitability about this match. Not sure Simon has really worked out what he needs to do to get back into it, or whether he's able to do it given his physical state. Barring a loss of concentration and form from Nadal, the odds are in favour of a straight set win here.
Oh, you just get the feeling that Simon's in survival mode.
Brilliant. Couldn't hit the ball any sweeter than that.
Well, this is an absolute ripper. Frozen rope straight down the line.
Yes, that's more like it. Much more aggressive game from the Frenchman. Perhaps he is starting to warm up a little bit now.
3 games.
He's obviously got absolutely nothing to lose, so may as well open his shoulders. Hope for the best. Certainly paid off in that last game. To lose a point at the net, Nadal. He's chosen his moment well. Come in behind near perfect approach shots. There's a baby in the crowd somewhere. Don't think it's Raffles.
I've been in that position a couple of times.
What, getting us back?
No, being hauled out of a stadium.
Nadal was just a little put off by it. Not sure it's allowed back home in England now. All sorts of rules and regulations. Not like you, Robbie. I have no experience fatherhood. I wouldn't really know. Do you rule your household with an iron fist?
Very old school. That thing like the good old 5-point plan. Big fan of discipline. I imagine you'd be pretty much the same.
Well, I was just going to say, and that's just Giselle, huh? What about the kids?
Exactly. All bravado when she's not around.
Good length.
Looks like Seymour's found something here. Perhaps finally realised that it's not a bad tactic after all.
Well, remember at the beginning of the match, he was sitting at almost 80% of his shots to Nadal's backhand. Vast majority of the serves going that way too. So a subtle change in the game plan, and suddenly he's able to reap the rewards.
Starting call 11. center line, the ball is scored.
Caught the line.
40-30, ponto e tanto. One has two challenges remaining.
Nadal managing to weather the storm there after some aggressive hitting from Simon. And he edges into the lead once more.
Not too much going on in this match. Both players just probing in the second set. But I probably expect things to start to heat up around about now, as both players realize they're coming to the business part of the set now, when everything is under the microscope. You lose serve now and you're in big trouble. This is probably when we're going to see Nadal step up to the plate and just raise the level of his game and appease all those fans. I'd love to see him in the finals tomorrow.
Tempo.
Just looking ahead to tomorrow's final, let's take a look at it from Andy Murray's point of view. Do you think he would prefer to take on Nadal in this arena here in Madrid, or do you think he would prefer to play the Frenchman who on paper would be a slightly easier match for him?
Well, knowing Murray and knowing how he loves a challenge, I'm sure he wants to have a crack at Rafa in his own backyard.
I guess that's what you dream of, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's why you play the sport, for those kind of matches. Huge matches, finals of a Master Series event against the hometown favourite. And current world #1, incidentally.
It's a nice aside, that, isn't it?
Just a little bit more meaningful when you tell your grandkids one day that you beat Nadal in Spain when he was world #1.
There's a nice ring to it, that, doesn't it?
Sure does.
That was just off the back of that semi-final win that I had against that guy called Federer.
Even better.
Nadal again. Seymour looking a little jaded as he was trying to chase that ball down.
0-30. 12-13.
Nadal sensibly taking his time here. Big point. A little unlucky there.
Hit love 40 already once in the set as Nadal. There's a tired serve right there, bottom of the net.
putting a quick end to the rally, forcing the play, missing as a result, and it's Nadal who benefits. Most unusual for Nadal to fail the tail end of one of those protracted baseline rallies when under very little pressure at all, really. Another break point squandered. We're back to deuce. That's good stuff.
Well, the key here is that he takes the ball nice and early. You've got to take time away from Nadal, given the opportunity. That's what Simon did there. Well, this time it's Nadal who repays the compliment, stepping up the court. Just at half a meter, you take the ball early. It's amazing how you can open up the angles on the court.
Beautifully done.
Well, whatever happens today, you've got to commend Simon, how well he's fought this week. He really has thrown everything at Nadal today. Still fired up.
Well, it was pretty close. Looks like he's just made it. Brilliance. Nadal can hardly believe it, but Simon will gratefully accept that gift from Hawkeye. And again, Nadal unable to get that vital break of serve, despite having chances to do so. 4-all. It's a terrific shot.
Love 30.
He started to use that shot more frequently as Seymour.
Nadal needs to stop the bleeding here. He's only won 2 of the last 10 points.
Right center line, the ball's called good. Second chance.
More in hope, I think, rather than expectation, that challenge. Sensational stuff from Seymour.
That's got Terry Tillon out of his chair, and rightly so. What an effort from this young man.
Love Bolton.
Great defense, and then as soon as he got a chance with the short ball, he pulls the trigger again with the forehand down the line.
Gracias.
Seymour taking it to the max. 3 break points. His first of the encounter. What a disaster as far as Nadal's concerned, but you have to give credit to Seymour. The penultimate point of the game was absolutely phenomenal. He's looked down and out throughout the course of this second set, but amazingly, it's the Frenchman now, just a game away from taking us the distance. Well, this just shows you, Robbie, if you let someone hang around long enough, it can prove costly.
It sure can, and it's almost like Simon has just found a second win here at the tail end of the second set. And he doesn't need any encouragement. He knows what's at stake. If he can hang on in here and take Nadal the distance and somehow get the win, it would really put him in a good position to qualify for the Masters Cup in Shanghai at the end of the year. Remember, with 2 events to come still in Lyon and Paris for him, playing in front of the French crowd will help Simon a lot, but he's still got to get through this, man. He is serving for the second set, but it's always a big ask to hold against Nadal when the chips are down.
Well, Simon has had an incredible week, really. Defeated Igor Andreev 4-6, 6-1, 7-6. James Blake 3-6, 6-1, 6-4. And Robbie Ginepri 6-7, 6-4, 7-6. So today also losing the opening set against Nadal, but he has hit back strongly here in the second.
Against the center. 15 up.
Better point from Nadal, working it well.
Casey Wallace, 15 on.
once again, defensive skills on offer were superb from the Frenchman.
30-15.
He certainly has stung Nadal at the tail end of this second set. Got a little tight.
Forehand has been pretty solid throughout the second set, but just letting him down when he needed it the most.
Break point. Nadal was more than a little fortunate to be able to stay in the rally. Shanked an earlier forehand midway through it. Mum's still relatively happy, but Dad looks a little concerned. Brilliant. Lovely combination of shots from the Spaniard to finish the rally off.
What a difference when he plays aggressively. Great depth there, and he gets the short reply. Whips up the back of that. That's what creates the spin and the angle. Outmaneuvering Simo.
Gracias.
Well, he really has got it all. Not only does he possess the awesome power, but he's got the touch as well. This is brilliant from Nadal. Heavy hitting. Great defense from Simo, it must be said, but look at this drop shot. He's a good meter behind the baseline when he hits it. Plenty of underspin. Perfectly weighted shot. That's clutch.
Gracias. ¿Ya están listos? Por favor.
The riposte of a champion.
15 love.
Well, whatever happens, I'm sure Thierry Toulon will be delighted with the response that he's got from his charge in this second set. We thought he was dead and buried midway through it, and how wrong we were.
iguales. 15 all. Gracias.
I think he's made it. Seymour still has the option of challenging.
Well, I think considering the magnitude of the point, it's worth a second look.
He's got plenty of challenges in the bag. Just caught the line. Inch perfect serve. Definitely worth a challenge. Certainly hasn't played as well in this match as he has done in his two previous ones.
But also I think Seymour has tested him a little more than his previous opponents, and the flat trajectory of the shots of Seymour, well, he has troubled him a bit, especially in the second set.
Well, again, Nadal forced into error. Was a little lucky there. There was nothing on that serve. Huge point, this one. Sensational stuff from Nadal. A little fortunate, perhaps, should have done more with the initial volley, but thereafter his response to adversity was perfect.
Well, he's such a cool customer, is Nadal. He should have put the first volley away. Once he makes this lunge volley, he knows exactly where this lob needs to go. There's no panic. Make sure he gets enough side spin on it, and then a little bit of top spin to bring it safely inside the court. He loved that.
Yes, so much better when he's playing inside the baseline. Just a question of keeping it up all the time. Again, it's that greater weight of shot that's working in the Frenchman's favour. We questioned at the beginning of the match whether he had it in his locker.
And for a large portion of the match, he didn't bring it out.
Tail end of this second set, he's been a revelation. Break point. Caught in two minds. I thought he was going to leave it initially. Incredible.
And then why not just go for the slice volley for safety? Just panic. And he knows as soon as he's made contact with the ball, he's hit it too hard.
Well, it's tough to put that kind of miss out of your mind. What a let-off for Nadal. Response from Simon, full marks to the Frenchman.
Well, the quality of the tennis in the last half an hour or so has been unbelievable. Now, Simon's really raised the level of his game. He's taken it to the world number one. And he's asked a lot of tough questions.
And Nadal has failed to come up with all of the answers. Another break point.
And again, it's such poise under pressure from Nadal. This is what is so remarkable about the young man.
Iguales, 10.
Always makes you do something special if you want to beat him. I mean, Simon played a pretty good point.
Coming out on top after a 21-stroke rally, and the Frenchman had defended exceptionally well to that point. What a way to save break point.
He's having to draw on all his experience, craft in these kind of situations to get him out of trouble here. Because it's not like he's playing badly, it's Simon who's playing exceptionally well and forcing the world number one to play even better.
Iguales, 2.
It has been hard to watch. Tension is palpable. Simon is so solid at the moment, giving away so few cheap points, and it's Nadal who is now found wanting more often than not in these baseline exchanges. Nadal with 18 unforced errors in this second set, Simon with 5 fewer than that. Disaster for Nadal. You have to give Simon credit for the way that he has come back in this second set. It took him almost 15 minutes, but the Frenchman finally gets the break of serve to lead 6-5 here in the second. Can only be impressed with the way that Simon has found his legs in this second set.
Well, it's unbelievable considering how much tennis he's played this week. But it's been inspirational stuff. He's refused to go away. Perhaps the occasion has really got him fired up. It's not often you get to play Nadal in his own backyard in front of 10,000 people in a match that is so important.
Gracias.
So for the second time in this set, Simon with an opportunity to pocket it.
Lat or service.
Oh!
Love 15.
And I think this is the one area of Simon's game that he needs to improve more than any other, the ability to earn cheap points on serve. Beautifully done. I think the rest of his game, Robbie, stands up very nicely against the other players inside the top 10. It would be such an advantage if he could get a few more cheap points when stepping up to the line.
Yeah, I think that would also improve his consistency throughout the course of a season, because you'd win a lot more cheap points on serve, expend less energy during matches, because we've seen this week he does spend a lot of energy in order to get the W.
It's a shame, but again, Simon did so well to stay in the rally as long as he did.
15 Bolton.
Nadal with a chance to take us into a tie-break. Nicely done.
He's that serve well, has Simon. The slider wide on the deuce court. Takes a lot of pace off it, so by the time the ball arrives at Nadal, there's nothing on there and you can't feed off the pace.
He's given his all, and that's all you can ask of anybody at any level in any match. We've learnt an awful lot in this second set about the size of Gilles Simon's heart. After looking down and out, here he is at set point. Brilliance! Full marks to the Frenchman. Nadal, perhaps with only himself to blame, he had plenty of opportunities, but he let Simon hang around, and we're going the distance.
Well, the centre court crowd has been stunned into silence. They can't quite believe what's happened, because they're a knowledgeable tennis nation, are the Spaniards, and they know that Rafa had Gilles Simon up against the ropes. But Simon, as you said, Jason, it's been remarkable how he's been able to turn things around here in the second.
Well, I think a couple of key areas. The quality of the first serve, so much better. Made 70% of first serves in that second set, and that allowed him to dictate play a little more. He was much more aggressive from the back of the court, came in a lot more frequently, won 8 of 12 points at the net, and just changed his tactics a little bit from the back of the court, peppering Nadal's forehand a little more frequently.
Absolutely, and I think that subtle change reaped a lot of rewards for him. Got Nadal out of his comfort zone and was able to take advantage of that situation very nicely in an hour and 10 minutes, wrapping up the second set.
Well, I think the majority of fans here shocked as to what they witnessed in that second set. Nadal had plenty of breakpoint opportunities, 1 for 8 in the second, and perhaps lulled into a false sense of security, almost hustled by Simon, who looked down and out midway through it. But what a response from the Frenchman, and now we've got a match in our hands.
Cesaro, 15 love.
Normal service is resumed. Nadal holding serve to lead 1-love here in the third. Of course, it's so important to be aggressive when you play against Nadal from the back of the court, and it's doubly important, really, to have the correct game plan in mind. And I think, Robbie, we both felt that at the beginning of the match, Simon was playing a little too much to Nadal's backhand and wasn't being forceful enough when he hit to the forehand, and certainly wasn't keeping good enough length. But in the second set, many of those balls much deeper to Nadal's backhand initially, and then many more balls to the forehand, especially when he got the open court to head into. And when he did, he flattened out the shot and therefore was so much more effective with it. tell you what, never get tired of seeing shots like that, and there have been plenty in the last 45 minutes or so.
It's almost like we're seeing action replays of that forehand over and over again as he rifles it down the line.
Sometimes though, Robbie, when you've won a second set that was as tight and as exciting as that, you do get that lull at the beginning of the next.
Yeah, it can be emotionally draining. So the first two service games, especially for Seymour, are of vital importance.
First overrule of the afternoon by Carlos Bernardes.
This one's trying the court, the right baseline, ball scored.
So it's Seymour and Bernardes. Mano or Mano? It's the umpire with a significant weight advantage who comes out on top.
Seymour has 2 challenges already.
Seymour up against it, and in need of another big first serve. He's only made 2 of 5 so far in this game. A shot. It's so well initially to make the distance, and then that backhand was inch perfect.
And again, subdued applause from the crowd. They can't believe what's happening here. How Seymour manages to find an opening there with that pass is beyond them. Can't believe it either.
Seymour.
Well, it's been 2 hours of fascinating tennis that we've witnessed, and there's more to come, I'm sure. You have got to take your hat off to Gilles Seymour. He's giving blood out there right now.
So much respect for that. But I tell you what, he's on his last legs. He was just bending over after that last rally.
And the conditions here in Madrid, so difficult. Just overcooked it, he can't believe it. Because it takes a little more work to get that air back into the lungs here.
Of course it does. It's a little less oxygen here at the altitude.
It's worth reiterating that all 4 matches he's played this week have gone the distance. Ooh, that was close.
Initial reaction was more out than in.
Deciding not to challenge, which is interesting. Big point. Wow.
Can you believe it?
Amazing stuff. And it's given Nadal break points. That one was definitely wide. Surely.
Nadal just turns the call left across the line.
And again, given the importance of the points, it's probably worth a shout. It did look wide, and so it's proved. Had Simon have challenged, the game would now be his. Good length.
Nadal.
Well, he has peppered the tee with that first serve whenever he's found himself break point down, and those second serves have dropped a little short, haven't they? So Nadal perhaps should have done better. Because that first serve has been a little predictable. There was another up the tee, and the second serves have certainly been attackable. Brilliant. There's the variation, and that's the sign of a very confident match player.
It's a tough serve as well. He's going over the highest part of the net. You can't hit that serve with as much spin when you go for the ace. It's flat. It has to be executed perfectly, just like that.
Such a shame. Another magnificent rally. It's easy to take ball striking like that under pressure for granted.
Every point now, Jason, it's like something from a highlights reel.
Break point. And that's incredible serving. That's back-to-back aces to save break point. His first 2 aces of this third set. What a time to find them. Surely Nadal has to start improving this breakpoint conversion rate. He's 3 for 17 now in the match. There's another squandered. It's definitely tight. There's absolutely no doubt about it. It can happen in matches, Robbie, when you've got a lot of break points and you can't get the break of serve. Do start getting a thing about it.
That starts to turn your mind. Becomes a little bit of a mental block.
Chalk up another ace. Phenomenal. Slap bang on the line. Urging himself on is so difficult to continually execute the type of shots that he is trying. Aggressive, flat forehands. Another break point. Oh, it's brilliant. We're running out of superlatives to describe exactly what we're seeing from Gilles Simon here.
I tell you what, they're going to have to carry him off on a stretch at the end of this match, win or lose.
It might be sooner rather than later. A 33-shot rally.
This game into its 15th minute. You've got to be kidding me. And it's not often that you get the nod of approval from Nadal. Out of sheer respect for the quality of that shot.
It takes something very special for that to happen. And this was just so. We saw Nadal hit a similar shot to that yesterday to get the vital break of serve in the second set. of his match with Lopez. That could be just as important here. Well, a phenomenal effort. Nadal had 6 break points, and Simon managed to fend off each and every one of those. It took him well over 15 minutes to eventually hold serve. The bad news for the Frenchman is it's only 1-1 in the third.
Oh, this is riveting stuff.
Gracias.
Again, it's worth reiterating that all 4 of Gilles Simon's matches this week have gone the distance. 3 have been won 7-6 in the third.
Well, both players redlining their game.
15 long.
Look at this. He hits that backhand behind him, flicks it cross court out of absolutely nowhere.
Caught Nadal out in no man's land there.
15 goles. 15 long. Kingston, 30-15.
He's not going to be able to make all of those. He's certainly made his fair share in the last hour and 15 minutes or so. Variation on serve from Nadal there, throwing in the big kicker. That's the right-hander's forehand. We do have difficulty returning that one when we're up against the lefties. And a nice quick service game for the Spaniard. 2-1.
¿Cuándo hay cambio de bolas? ¿Cuándo hay cambio de bolas?
Uno más.
Un juego más. ¿Puedes pedir por favor?
Gracias.
Day 6 of our live coverage, the 8th Masters Series event of the year. The second semi-final of the day. We've already seen a win for Andy Murray, the 4th seed from Great Britain, over the 2nd seed and former champion here, of course, Roger Federer. Murray winning in sensational fashion, 3-6, 6-3, 7-5, and gaining revenge for the loss that he suffered at the hands of Federer in the final of the US Open. And this second semi-final certainly isn't disappointing either. It's been a remarkable comeback by Gilles Simon after looking dead and buried midway through the second set. Jason Goodall alongside Robbie Koenig, thoroughly enjoying today's tennis.
Gracias.
Took him well over 15 minutes to hold serve at love 1. And I guess the big question, Robbie, that we're all asking and have been asking for the last hour and a half really, is how long can Simon keep this up?
Well, not only is he playing against Nadal, the world #1, but he's up against 10,000 fans as well, who haven't been giving him all that much love when he plays some of those unbelievable winners.
But the atmosphere must have helped him come back in that second set. It must have inspired him. Long. No intervention from Carlos Bernardes, but it looked like it was deep.
I thought there was a bit of skiddage there, just coming off the white paint.
We'll see with the intervention of Hawkeye. You know your skiddage.
30-15.
Good call. I think even though he's not getting a lot of support from the crowd, like there, that was a great approach shot and a smattering of applause. It's better to have to work against a full crowd than to have no crowd there at all.
No, absolutely. No, you're quite right in making that point. But I think if this match was being played in the Bercy Arena and you had 10,000 Parisians behind you, you'd probably have probably about 10 to 20% more energy than what he has right now.
We've said it before, but Seymour again looks like he's on his last legs. Coach trying to urge him on, looking for one final push.
I like the move there from Simon, because if he lets that ball bounce, Nadal's going to be right back in the point. Just took a little bit of time away from Nadal. Well done. Still great clarity of thought, despite the fact he's in near exhaustion.
Because he hits the ball with relatively little spin, if he doesn't really go for the shot, he loses control of it, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've seen that a few times in this game. This is a man who knows about being tired. Alberto Contador, he's won the Tour de France. He's got a bit of stamina in him. Knows exactly what Simon's going through right now.
But often in the Tour de France, you've got a team to help you as well. Out there, it's one-on-one. That's why you have to admire everything that we've seen this afternoon from the Frenchman. That Simon is able to get so many shots back in play is now forcing Nadal to go ever closer to the line. Another incredibly good hold for Simon. He's having to work so hard to hold serve, but as long as he continues to do so, he's got every chance of shocking the 10,000 people in this arena.
I'll tell you, somebody who's rubbing their hands right now, just chilling back in the hotel, is Andy Murray. He's hoping that this one carries on for about another 45 minutes.
He's watching gleefully these two take body punches out of one another.
Forehand unforced number 7 for Simon in the set. Tired looking one.
Good use of that wide serve to open up a little bit of real estate. I guess at some stage Simon's going to have to start conserving energy when returning in order to concentrate on holding serve. This might be one of those occasions. So a comfortable service game in the end for the top seed. 3-2.
One fan has left the stadium. They really are getting their money's worth this evening. quick look at how this match has evolved. We see Nadal. Remember early on we showed you the same sort of statistics where Nadal was playing a lot to Simon's backhand, over 60%. Now here deep in the third set, Nadal just fine-tuning his game, plugging away more at the Simon forehand, over 58% of the shots going to that side of the court. And that's why he's being a lot more effective here in the third.
Frenchman has made 7 unforced errors off the forehand in this set compared to just 3 on the backhand. He's perfect. It's a sensible approach shot. And 5 of 7 points at the net in this set, Simon. 15 of 26 overall, but he's coming a lot more frequently in sets numbers 2 and 3.
Just when you think he's down and out, love 30 behind, pulls it even again.
What a shame. Another tremendous rally.
And a good portion of the fans on their feet out of respect to both players. What a hustle from Nadal. And again. Sensational stuff. This volley isn't easy either.
For the first time in the match there, the Frenchman just clasping his left hamstring. Might be starting to get the onset of cramp. But it can't get any worse as far as break points converted are concerned. Nadal in the match is 3 and 19. Surely that's got to change sooner rather than later. Deserves his luck, no question about that.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. You make your own luck. And he has hung so tough this evening. He deserves a little bit of respite.
Again, Nadal choosing precisely the right moment to pepper the forehand.
Nadal.
Nadal gets the break.
Nadal gets 4-2.
And will that be the straw that breaks the camel's back? Simon now with a mountain to climb. This game hugely important.
Serve 15. Love 15.
Hoping for some divine intervention. It's an incredible hustle. Simon giving Nadal a taste of his own medicine.
Exactly what I was thinking. Now Nadal knows what it's like if he was playing against himself.
Phenomenal shot making. That one unanswerable. Nadal had only lost 1 point in his first 3 service games in this set, and now finds himself love 40 down. Solid approach shot. Simon will be disappointed because he made the distance in plenty of time, and off his best shot, he'll know that he should have at the very least made Nadal play. The break. Can you believe it? Seymour looked dead and buried. 4-2 down in this deciding set. Now he's right back in it.
Well, you have to just keep on singing his praises, because there's very few players in the world who can live with Nadal this long. He's taken body blow after body blow, and he's just absorbed it and then giving plenty of his own back to Nadal. And I think whatever happens today, win or lose, Seymour will have earned so much respect from his peers and from the very best player in the world right now. Because if anybody knows how to give 100%, it's Nadal.
A lot of prerequisites to being successful in this game. You've got to be a terrific athlete, you've got to be a talented ball striker, but perhaps more than anything, you have to have a huge heart. And today, we're seeing that Simon's is just as large as the best in the business.
Couldn't have said it any better.
We're on serve. Business end of this deciding set.
Round 15. iguales. 15 all. Gracias.
Sensational stuff. Reading the game so well now.
30-15.
Again, look how much court he's got at coverage.
Gracias.
Inch perfect on the approach. When you get the ball that deep, it takes away all of the options for your opponent. It means that they have to take much more of a risk when trying to execute any shot. Brilliant. And the easiest service game of the set for the Frenchman.
Yeah, that one only lasting 12 minutes. No, we're just kidding.
Well, of the two, you'd have to say, given that he's won the last 2 games, the momentum is with the Frenchman. He's got nothing to lose. Everybody expected Nadal to win this match at the beginning of it, and given how many chances he's had throughout it, they still feel that there can only really be one winner. But there's very little to choose between the two now. Shot to the Nadal forehand. It's paying dividends for Simon. .27 in first airs off the forehand. Makes gloomy reading for mum and dad. He's made it! A brilliant effort. Great tennis from both. But Simon continues to astound.
Great anticipation. As soon as he hit the backhand down the line, he was taking off, anticipating the volley from Nadal. Got there with plenty of time to spare. Despite how tired his legs must be feeling right now. That's a tough serve for a lefty. And we know when the chips are down, Nadal likes to go up the middle, so for him to hit that one out wide at this stage in the match is impressive.
Terrific stuff from Nadal. The crowd urging their hero on. Manages to hold serve. And the top seed is just 4 points away from a place in Sunday's final.
He's thrown everything he's got at Simon today. And again, it's worth reiterating that he's been playing some good tennis, Nadal. It's not like he's played badly today. I mean, every rally has been 10, 15 shots in the making. And more often than not, it's a winner that's decided the outcome of the point. Or a forced error. Look at the reaction from Nadal. He knows how important the hold was there.
Well, finally, a few more smiles on the faces of the majority of the fans here, because they will feel confident, I'm sure, that Nadal can close this match out now that he's just a game away from victory, but there's still an awful lot of tennis left to be played. He will certainly not be underestimating the opposition at this stage in the encounter. Frenchman under pressure once more, needing to hold serve to stay in the match. This time the net cord not doing the Frenchman any favours as that one just pops up. Nadal can make that in a sleep. Nadal will surely challenge that.
The left near sideline, the ball followed up.
Well, I like the play from Nadal, sending a strong message to the other side of the net, really pulling the trigger on that return.
It's got a piece of the line.
And that's a bit of a double-edged sword there, because I don't really know whether he should be happy or disappointed, because he was well in control at that point.
15 on.
Now Seymour obviously gets a first serve, so Nadal will be a little disappointed.
Left
Of course,
service.
without the invention of Hawkeye, he would have lost the point anyway. So he's got reason to be thankful too. Straight as an arrow through the heart of the Spaniard.
The 18th forehand winner from Seymour. And the vast majority of them have been down the line.
There's two backhands he's missed in this game. He wasn't under that much pressure. Normally a very sound shot of his.
Didn't like the gesture from Seymour when he asked for the official review.
Only a millimetre in it. And I think he did it in humour, but it just didn't translate well.
No. A little bit misconstrued. There we go.
The smile, though, does translate well. Tight as well.
Look at the mark over there.
Both players are down to their last challenge before the tie-break. So this is a big call. He's missed it, but only just. Can you believe it? Well, the crowd certainly can't. Nadal looks on in disbelief. Seymour wins the game. Nadal is out of challenges before we reach a tiebreak, if we do. And the Frenchman lives to fight another day. Brilliant. There's no answering that.
Well, it's not often that you can look at Nadal and say that he looks worse for wear. But he's having to absorb some serious body blows now.
iguales, 15 all.
His response is as dogged as ever. Well now.
Gracias.
Close too. And again, with only one challenge left, you have to be careful. That's the pace. He's doing the damage. Nadal catching that forehand late. And he's done that on numerous occasions. Seymour has fine-tuned his game plan beautifully since the beginning of the match. And he's done an excellent job in this third set of breaking that forehand down with his harder, flatter, more aggressive ground strokes. Here he is. Break point. What a get from Seymour. Another error from Nadal. So uncharacteristic of the world number one. But amazingly, it's the Spaniard now who's staring defeat in the face as Seymour leads 6-5.
Well, this has been something special.
Well, the crowd not happy that the band playing the tune from The Godfather. It's rather a morbid song, and I think they feel that that's signalling Nadal's death in this match.
Well, it's all happening.
It's been a remarkable turnaround. Well, this has been an incredible match. We've been on court for just over 3 hours. and it's been unmissable viewing. But amazingly, Gilles Simon, who was dead and buried midway through the second set, is now just a game away from beating the world number one. And what a start.
And he's used that play so effectively. No pace on that first serve out wide. And when he gets the short reply, pumping it to the forehand side of Nadal.
Perhaps that miss is the encouragement that the crowd need to get right behind Nadal now. Surely they must still believe. How could they not? Missed it.
Yeah, especially given all that he's done this season.
15-13.
This will put a couple of years on mom and dad.
Half chance here for the Spaniard. Good length from Simon, under pressure. But having got into the rally, Nadal will be bitterly disappointed he gave that point up so cheaply. Points away.
So surprising he went there, Jason. He's had so much success going to the Nadal forehand. And that's what happens when you play out of your comfort zone, when you try to do something that you're not 100% comfortable with.
And I guess he just fancied a little bit of variation, but why change a winning formula? Especially on an important point like that. Nadal very much back in the mix. There's the break. And you would think Nadal had won the tournament. It had to happen after all the drama of the last 2 hours.
The crowd paying homage
to their god. Fitting that a tie-break will decide matters. up from Nadal. Cagey tennis from both there. Having to work extremely hard to gain a slender lead after a 33-stroke rally.
Lat versus
And it's probably worth reiterating that out of the 4 matches that Simon's won this week, 3 of those have been in a third set tiebreaker.
Gilles Simon has had a lot of experience winning tight matches this week. No one this season has won more frequently than the Spaniard. 7 titles, an Olympic gold medal to boot. Every point that Nadal wins now is just greeted with tumultuous applause. This arena taking on a football-like atmosphere. It's always going to be a risky shot.
3-2 Nadal.
Nadal has allowed Simon back into the tiebreak. Well, this has been an incredible match for so many reasons. The heart and the character that we've seen from Simon, the shot making and the brilliance from both players at the tail end of that second set. The incredible turnaround here in the third, when again it looked like Simon was down and out when he found himself a break behind. And of course, the way that Nadal was able to sensationally break serve to take us into a tiebreak. And even here, Robbie, at 3 points apiece, impossible to choose between these two.
I think you summed it up beautifully. And just the added bonus that Nadal is playing in front of his home fans, the atmosphere is special. so desperate to see him win.
Gracias.
Which of the two will be able to hold their nerve? That's a brilliant change-up once again from Seymour. Those shots down the line have been brutal this afternoon.
Yeah, they sure have. We've seen plenty of forehands, but we know how good that backhand down the line is as well. He's won a 9-7 in the third set tiebreaker. An 8-6 and a 7-2 has Gilles Simon this week.
That's phenomenal ball striking. And the courage, too, is remarkable. To want to take the ball on and try and force the play when it would be so easy to hope for an unforced error. Once again, Seymour is 2 points away from victory.
Talk about courage. Again, it's Nadal who goes with the wide serve on the deuce court. Toughest one for a lefty to make. Missed a crucial forehand when serving for the match. And that one at 5-4 could prove to be costly as well.
Listos, gracias. Gracias.
Mistakes that time, though.
6-5, Simon.
Especially after he's just missed one. Kept going for it.
And they can hardly watch. Their hero is staring defeat in the face. Nadal, who's had so many opportunities in this match to put the Frenchman to bed and has failed to do so, must now win this point to stay in the tournament.
That's why he's #1 in the world. Right there, folks. That's why they pay him the big bucks. Because when the chips are down, he comes to the party.
Had the courage to take that ball on, to make something positive happen. I'd like to have him at my party, that's for sure.
I tell you what, if there's one player that you could pick to play for your life, he's the man. He's my man anyway.
Jugadores listos, gracias. Por favor.
Match point saved. Everything still to play for. It's a brilliant shot from Seymour, sensing, I'm sure, that Nadal lost his footing there. It must have been so tempting to then hit into the open court, but that's where Nadal was dashing towards. So the sensible shot was back behind. And to be able to think that clearly under that much pressure at this stage in the proceedings is absolutely outstanding. So Seymour with a second match point, but this time on serve. Well, Seymour will challenge the call, but it looked good. And he had a play on the ball, but he thought it was going long. Did Nadal put just enough topspin on the shot to stay alive? He's missed it! Can you believe it? Seymour wins in 3 remarkable sets. The top seed and the world #1 is beaten in his own backyard by a man who literally gave his all out there this afternoon. And whilst 10,000 people are bitterly disappointed, they can only applaud the effort that was put forth by the Frenchman this afternoon. They're going to have to carry him off this court. But it's Seymour who's through to the final in yet another remarkable 3-set victory.